And there we go, full-time whistle. Kilmacud Crokes, All-Ireland Club Football Champions. 111 to 1-9 is how it finishes. Kilmacud Crokes get the job done. All-Ireland champions. Tom says, what a save, and what a save it was from Conor Ferris in the end. Kilmacud Crokes deliver. You know, they get what they came to do after losing the All-Ireland to Kilcoo last year. The big focus for them was to win the All-Ireland, was to get back what they lost last year. The heartbreak that they would have suffered in that All-Ireland final last year, having conceded that late goal to Kilcoo. And you think it nearly happened again. I mean, Conor Glass, with that chance, of all people, what a story that would have been if Glass had put that in the back of the net. But it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be from Watty Glen point of view. Saved in the end from Conor Ferris, and what a story in the end for Kilmacud Crokes. And you know, how romantic is it in the end, whether you want to call it romantic, whether you want to call it controversial, that the final point of the game was scored by none other than Shane Walsh of Kilmacud Crokes. And you've got Paul Mannion in tears watching on the sideline. His first All-Ireland at club level. I don't think he was involved in 2009. Maybe he was. I can't quite remember. But a huge, huge moment for Kilmacud Crokes to get the victory in a game that, to be honest, was probably not the best game. You know, neither side, I don't think, were at their absolute best. Neither side played at their absolute best. You know, you think of Kilmacud Crokes in the first half and those missed opportunities and those missed chances. You know, in the first half, they had 5 chances converted out of 14. They were really, really slow out of the blocks. Obviously, that early goal from Danny Talon set the tone for Watty Glen. You know, and they start fast, and they were getting into the right spaces. They were getting into the right opportunities. Watty Glen. It was just a time, that final ball, that final pass was letting them down, and you could see the nerves were there for both sides. You could see the nerves were there for Kilmacud Crokes, in particular in the first half. Walsh dropping an opportunity short, I remember, from a free that was very uncharacteristic of him. Mannion hit the post. You could see there was a clear bit of rustiness. And Darragh Mullen, as I'm seeing here, wins man of the match on TG Cahir, and absolutely rightly so. Sensational performance from him. 2 points, but he was setting up scores. He was winning the track and back. And, you know, I think you could arguably make a case that Darragh Mullen is potentially Club Footballer of the Year. I think he could really, really be in the conversation. I mean, people might look at Shane Walsh as Club Footballer of the Year. I mean, Mannion's been injured since the Dublin quarterfinals. I don't think you can give it to him. You know, Craig Diaz gets in the conversation. Conor Glass gets in the conversation. But in the end, you know, you can't look past someone like Darragh Mullen, who was absolutely sensational today. 2 points in total. And, you know, his overall build-up and his support play was fantastic. And surely he comes into the Dublin side. And I think he should start as well. You know, you put him in that half-forward line alongside Kieran Kilkenny and Brian Howard. You know, if Noel Scully isn't available, you throw him in there. You have to, in my opinion. You really, really do. You know, maybe you play him in full forward line and, you know, he drops back. I'm not sure, but he surely has to play some part. But yeah, like running through the key events of the game, as I said, Danny Talon gets the opening goal. Crokes were very slow out of the get-go. A big burst right at the end of the first half, though. Darragh Mullen getting on the score sheet. Shane Walsh with the penalty. Shane Cunningham was dragged back in the end by one of the Watty Glen defenders. I think it might have been Ryan Dugan, potentially, who might have dragged him back there. But Shane Walsh puts it in the back of the net. He gets off the score sheet. Darragh Mullen, Shane Cunningham, and Dan O'Brien all getting on the score sheet. And, you know, Walsh gets another point at the start of the second half. And Crokes had built up a bit of a margin, and it looked like it was only going one way, and it was going the way of Kilmacud Crokes. But to be fair to Watty Glen, like they you know, they gave it to Kilmacud Crokes. They went at them. They pushed them. They made it a tough game. And, you know, Danny Talon was getting in great spaces. Jack Doherty was getting a couple of points. You know, Emmett Bradley and Conlon McGuckian were getting in good positions. And there was a moment they went 1-9 to 1-7 up, going into, you know, the final 10 minutes. And you thought, it's on here for Watty Glen. The All-Ireland is on here for them. But Kilmacud Crokes, they found a way to turn it around. Keane O'Connor coming off the bench, making a huge impact. I thought their substitutes bench made a big impact. In general, Darragh Mullen got a great point. Shane Walsh got on the score sheet as well. And Crokes found an answer. And Glen had opportunities. They got themselves into 1 or 2 goal chances. There was an opportunity where one of the substitutes, number 19, forgive me for not knowing his name, but he slipped as he was running through. He could have played it into Alex Doherty, or he potentially could have, taken a point there. A couple of other instances as well where they got themselves into some big chances. And, Conor Glass is that opportunity, which is saved by Conor Ferris. They get another chance as well where it's played in right at the death, and Jack Doherty tries to get on the end of it but can't. So in the end, Crokes have hung on by the smallest of margins. They owe a big thank you to Conor Ferris for making that save, and they get the job done. They get the win. Gavin says Shane Walsh won one of his 2 All-Ireland finals of 2022-2023. Yeah, huge moment for him. And I seen him consoling one of the, Watty Glen defenders when the full-time whistle blew. And, you'd have to say, what a year for Shane Walsh. What a 12 months it's been for him. I'm sure this time last year when he was watching Kilmacud Crokes play Kilcoo in the final, he could never have imagined being involved with Kilmacud Crokes 12 months later. And you would have to say that him playing for Crokes has made a huge difference in Kilmacud Crokes winning the All-Ireland. I mean, he probably didn't have his best game today, but you think back to the Dublin final, he was instrumental. A couple of other times, the Leinster final, he scored 9 points that day. But it is what it is. If he's working and living in Dublin, there can't be an issue with that. And yes, he might be a high-profile footballer, but I think that's just how it works. And he plays for Crokes. He's made a huge impact. He's delivered on the occasion for Kilmacud Crokes to win the All-Ireland, and deservedly so. Robbie Brennan watching on there as well. Massive for him. Massive for him to get that All-Ireland. He obviously led them to the final last year. The heartbreak of losing the final. There's been obstacles thrown in his way. Mannion's injury this year was big. They had Walsh to slot in there and almost be a replacement, but massive moment for Kilmacud Crokes. And the question could be with the size of their club, with the resources that they have, the pull that they have in bringing Shane Walsh in, could Kilmacud Crokes now go on and dominate? Because they won the All-Ireland, or they almost won the All-Ireland last year. They won the All-Ireland this year. Realistically, the team that comes out of Dublin next year should be winning the Leinster Championship. That then puts them into the Final Four and thereabouts. So, Crokes potentially could go on and possibly dominate the All-Ireland, in my opinion. They really could. But yeah, Darragh Mullen, man of the match, superb. From a Watty Glen point of view, Danny Tallon was very impressive. I felt at different times in the game. Glass superb on kickouts. I mean, it was interesting looking at the kickouts actually, because you were looking at it and seeing that Crokes were better on Glen's kickouts and Glen were better on Crokes kickouts. It was sort of interesting to see both sides pressing up on kickouts and playing quite similarly in many ways. But in the end, it was the smallest of margins, and Glen and Crokes were just that little bit more clinical, had obviously the better forwards, a few more options coming off the bench, and in the end it was absolutely crucial. But yeah, let me know your comments down below in the match reaction. Let me know your comments after the fact. What were your thoughts on the game? Who were your man of the match? And anyone who tuned into the live watch along, very much appreciated. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It will be live tonight at 8:30 with Matthew Hurley of the GAA Statsman. We'll be reviewing the 2 All-Ireland club finals that happened today, as well as did I just mute this? No, I didn't. As well as looking back through some pre-season results and Sigerson Cup and everything else, and discussing all the big talking points. So Yeah, that's a wrap on the club season. Cheers anyone who tuned in. As I said, I'll be doing one watch along every weekend from now on throughout the National Football League. So make sure to tune into that as well, and make sure to check out other videos on the channel as well. So yeah, cheers anyone who tuned in. Massive congratulations to Kilmacud Crokes, who are All-Ireland Club Football Champions. Commiserations to Watty Glen. A tremendous effort from them, it must be said. But Kilmacud Crokes are the All-Ireland champions. Cheers anyone who tuned in. See you later.